Hello, this is Dan Ferrisi, Editor-in-Chief with Commercial Integrator. So happy to be joined today by Brian Smith, who is Pro AV Sales Director with Watchfire. Topic of conversation is, of course, houses of worship as it relates to our House of Worship Deep Dive, which will be all over our website throughout the month, as well as in the August issue of Commercial Integrator. Thank you so much, Brian, for joining me today, and thank you to Watchfire for lending its thought leadership, not only in this Q&A, but also in a sidebar in the House of Worship Deep Dive.
Thank you so much, Dan, for the time here today. And again, we're very excited to partner with Commercial Integrator on this very important market to Watchfire.
We really do appreciate it. Watchfire has been a name in the digital signage and display world for many years. What would you say the core business is, and what sets Watchfire apart from others in the space?
Yeah, absolutely. Watchfire, number one, is all about direct view LED. In fact, that's all that we do. Whether it's outdoor message centers with possibly a video board added in, to our outdoor advertising and billboard division, to the division we're here discussing today, Pro AV, providing primarily indoor direct view LED displays in the house of worship market. We are committed at Watchfire to providing, number one, innovative product backed by superior customer service from a pre-sales consultation all the way to an after-sales service and support. Now, you mentioned what sets us apart. Part of what sets us apart, or the Watchfire difference, as we like to call it, is our extreme commitment to our customer base. We have more than 65,000 active installations in North America. So we understand what it takes we understand what it means to take care of our customers. As our CEO says, our warranty statement is the minimum of what we will do. So when you've been in business for 91 years, you've done something right. Part of that is we provide a 5-year parts warranty straight out of the gate. That's standard for every one of our customers. We also provide a 10-year bin-matched parts guarantee. Now, Dan, you're probably familiar, many of your listeners are probably familiar with the process of LED binning. When the LEDs are produced, they can have different color and brightness characteristics. That's a layman's explanation. By binning those together, similar looking parts are put together. And when you use LEDs out of the same bin, you end up with a uniform looking wall by and large. Now, we've all seen the install before where there's 1 or 2 LED modules that look totally different from the rest, different brightness, different color characteristics. They likely did not have bin match parts in order to service the wall. So our commitment is we will have bin matched LEDs for up to 10 years to help you through any service issues that you might experience. Now, that's a big commitment from Watchfire. In addition, all support is U.S. based at our headquarters and our manufacturing center in Danville, Illinois.
You mentioned, Brian, that Watchfire is doing something right. It sounds to me like you're doing a lot of things right, a lot of really positive differentiators for your organization. Let's talk a little bit about houses of worship in particular, though. What are some ways Watchfire is serving that particular vertical market community? And are there areas that are best suited to Watchfire products within those spaces?
Absolutely. There's multiple ways that Watchfire can help the house of worship community. Number one, outdoor signage on the exterior of the building or at the roadway. Again, those digital message centers, video boards, communicating not only to your congregation, but to all those passing by car or walking past the passing public. That can number into the hundreds of thousands of cars per day traveling past your facility. We also provide with that easy-to-use cloud-based software called Ignite OPX to help you develop content, schedule content, and then publish the content to those displays. And then the other area that we're really focusing on today, that Pro AV or indoor space where we can provide direct view LED displays in the sanctuary, large meeting spaces, assembly areas, youth rooms, choir rehearsal spaces, or even digital signage locations throughout the facility. Now, there's many, many uses here, but among them, we talk about things like supporting song lyrics, sermon points, Bible verses, video playback, image magnification, where you're showing cameras onto the screen in a low latency type fashion, or even in a lot of today's churches, they're showing graphics or sometimes what I like to describe as eye candy, drawing the viewer in. We do all of that with the ability to create virtually unlimited sizes and these really odd aspect ratios. We've also got many older houses of worship that have historical buildings. They may have stained glass or lots of natural light coming into the performance spaces. They are not designed like many of today's places, where many are designed like a theater environment with highly controlled ambient light. DirectView LED can look great and punchy even through high ambient lighting conditions. For many historical buildings, many have chosen to make the display part of the architecture by displaying pictures of stained glass or other architectural elements on the display when not in use for a gathering. Stone or wood are some common looks that people will use to display on the DirectView LED display when it's not in use.
Now, you had mentioned, Brian, that Watchfire is a real specialist when it comes to DirectView LED, and everything you've shared so far just underscores and emphasizes that. Do you want to share any specifics an expert like you, an expert like Watchfire, would bear in mind when considering deploying Watchfire displays in a house of worship setting? Examples of how your products work in those settings.
Yeah, absolutely. So typically, if I'm going to talk to you about a display in your facility, the number one question I'm going to ask is, what is the application? How do you want to use the display? For instance, if you want a backdrop for streaming the message, that sort of application gives us a lot of information about what pixel pitch to use, the brightness needed, the refresh rate, etc. All of that gives us a lot of clues into how to design a system for you. In fact, Compassion Church in South Carolina, they were looking to up their streaming presence during COVID. They actually decided on about an 8-foot high by 16.5-foot wide S-Series 3.9 millimeter display. And they use it to provide a backdrop for worship that sits kind of high up on the stage. When the pastor comes up to preach, they actually lower the screen so it becomes a backdrop during preaching. That's a very dedicated application that they told us they wanted to achieve. Now, once they installed the system, the report back to us was that many people commented on not only the improvement in both the in-house experience, improved clarity, improved brightness. They got many compliments on how much better the stream looked on the far end, on the computer end, with that clarity and brightness bump over the previous projection solution. So that's just one example of how it could be used in a church. And that was us asking the question, what is the application? How do you want to do it? Many times today, it's all about capturing attention. In fact, in our last podcast, we talked about engagement, experiential signage. It's all around. So wherever people are going, they expect high quality. They're getting it in their homes. So when they go to their house of worship on the weekends to worship, they expect that same quality and that same clarity. So beyond application, we'll also need to know some sizing details, such as are there any restrictions limiting the display to a certain size? Are you wanting a certain aspect ratio or a certain size? There may be weight restrictions. There may be power restrictions. Those are all things that we're going to try to tap into. Other questions. Are there external sources that you want to connect beyond, say, just ProPresenter or PowerPoint or other worship software? Are there windowing looks that you want to achieve on the displays? Those answers to those questions are always helpful. Beyond that, Watchfire can help with, again, expert level consulting to help you find that right balance of a technical solution to fit within any given budget range.
So a term that I've heard bandied about a little bit is the Watchfire difference. Do you want to talk about what exactly that means and how you work to benefit as an organization, your partners and your customers?
Absolutely. The bottom line here is that we are experts in the direct view LED category with a long history of successful, happy customers. I mentioned 65,000 plus active installations. We've pretty much seen it all. So we can provide a level of support that can't be touched by many companies in our industry and offer the end user peace of mind that we will be here when they need us years down the road as well, not just to make the sale. So all of that plus a great looking quality product equals satisfied customers who come back over and over again to experience the difference of working with Watchfire.
I have to say that's a very compelling value proposition. Thank you so much, Brian Smith, Pro AV Sales Director with Watchfire, for joining me today and sharing your insights about the House of Worship market as well as the Watchfire difference.
Very welcome. Thank you so much, Dan.
My name is Dan Ferrisi, Editor-in-Chief with Commercial Integrator. Please check back on commercialintegrator.com throughout the month for more content relating to our House of Worship Deep Dive. And of course, please check out the House of Worship Deep Dive itself in the August issue of Commercial Integrator, which should be hitting mailboxes very, very shortly. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and please check back on commercialintegrator.com regularly for more thought leadership content just like this.